Welcome on into another episode of Off the Shelf Podcast. I'm your host, Jordan, and with me, we got Clint, our co-host.
What's up?
And we got a special guest. We got Rob Kligman from Collectible Lane. Rob, you want to tell us a little about yourself, what got you going, and where you're currently at today, man?
Yeah, Jordan, Clint, thank you so much for having me. It's a super pleasure on this Friday night to join you all. Hello to that universe that tunes in to watch you every week. I'm currently the CEO and founder of Collectible Lane. I had a little extra time in my life, and I thought about ways to make the collectible world, the collectible marketplace, the shopping and buying of collectibles a lot more enjoyable by creating a pretty simple platform that utilizes AI for you to list products in under 10 seconds, that offers up a very even playing field for when you're actually going to list a product. Because it's a low fee marketplace, you don't have to take advantage of the buyer because you don't have to compensate for the high fees that most of these collectible marketplaces have. So I'm having a lot of fun. It's about a month and a half in, and we've got a pretty cool company called Collectible Lane that is all about just creating lanes that are all about the passion points for folks that are very interested in collectibles. It's 30 plus years have gotten me to this time and place of where I am, and just having a lot of fun. And I think that's the name of the game right now in life.
Oh, most definitely. And I enjoyed like looking at it, digging into it. Like, I think it's a good platform from what I can see. It's kind of like a mix of Collects and eBay in a sense, right? Like,
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
definitely is.
more of
And
a
it's,
fixed priced.
yeah, so you can buy now or make an offer. And, what's fun about creating something is you can create, but eventually you got to launch it and you got to
Right.
see how it works. And that was
Right.
kind of where I am now. About a month and a half ago, we just kind of turned the lights on and said, let's launch it. Let's figure out what the, community is going to say about it. Let's just find out what's going to happen. And from there, we've tweaked some things. We're coming out with some really cool ideas. Where one of them is we're actually going to verify every listing before it actually goes up. So you're going to have an opportunity with AI to verify it. We're going to make sure it's a human behind the product and the product is actually in hand utilizing AI. And so that's kind of an example of once we're up, we're now figuring out the enhancements that need to happen to make it a bigger and better platform. And I'm not all about being first, but I want to be best. So it's all about that crawl, walk, run methodology and figuring out what needs to happen. And listening to the community. They're telling me to do this, they're telling me to do that. And we're just taking it all in, as you guys have probably done with your show. What can we do? What kind of questions are better asked? What kind of, areas of the platform are more needed? And that's kind of what it's about. But you're right, Jordan. It's pretty simple and pretty similar to what you had just mentioned. And I wanted to make it simple, right? It should be very easy to list a product. It should be very easy to buy a product. And then you needed a trusted platform. That's kind of what I've been able to build.
Yeah, because I mean, both Clint and I are both on Collects.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I buy and sell sports cards left and right. So this is no rodeo to me. Like, this is nothing new, right?
Yeah, the industry's hot right now too, boy. Unbelievable.
I mean, especially with Topps getting all the licensing and everything. It's a big market change, I feel, in today's sports card world, right?
Yeah, and then you see what happened with PSA and their infusion of $200 million the other day.
Yeah.
They're hopefully going to hire a few more people to figure out how to grade and get those things back to people before you know it.
I did see that they extended their lead time too. At least it's a little bit more of a manageable lead time instead of lying to everybody who does grade with PSA.
Yeah, I had a conversation with one of the grading houses, and they kind of asked me, what can we do better? And I said, well, literally, let's get away from business days. Let's go to just regular days, right? Why do we have to bring the business aspect into something that's really fun? Just go days. It's going to be 30 days, and that's it. I don't want to figure out, okay, there's 5 days in a week. We're not going to work on Tuesday. Let's just be normal. And I said, well, let's explain a little bit about what's going on with the grading. Let us know what a 10 really means, because if you're looking at one company versus the other, we really have to be honest. It's a 10, right? I mean, it's just because PSA has that name that it's really working well for them. So there's a lot of fun things going on right now in the grading side.
And I know we've talked about it too. Like, why is PSA the standard when it comes to a 10?
Yeah, no,
You
right?
know, like I don't understand it. I mean, I've got SGC 10s, which granted now PSA owns, but they still don't withhold to a PSA 10.
Yeah. So one of the conversations was unveil what it really means to be a 10 and become the
Right.
standardized methodology of how to grade. Nobody really wants to pull the curtain back. But maybe if you pull the curtain back, we'll actually believe you that it's not, one of the Willy Wonka, dwarfs sitting in the back grading something, right? And just kind of figured it out on the belt. So that's kind of, there's a lot of easy ways to fix the industry, but yeah, I mean, the label on PSA doesn't look the best, right? I mean, the casing isn't the best. It doesn't get back to you faster than anybody else. So why are they the standard?
Yeah,
Yeah. It
I don't
makes
even it does, and I don't even understand it. Like, I mean, me especially. Well, I mean, Clint's now getting more so into the Pokemon side, but it's like, okay, is CGC the front runner when it comes to Pokemon? You
Yeah,
know,
right?
and it seems
I
like it in my opinion, but there is those people that are searching for those PSAs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was at a card show this past weekend and I was all about, I'll take your CGC. You want to sell it to me for less? I'll take it.
Yeah.
right.
Give me the 10 for less, and I'll make sure that in a couple of years it's worth as much as your PSA is.
Oh, for sure.
It
Right?
just sucks up front. Like, I mean, because I like the aspect. I like the slab look of a. I hate to say it, but what is it? C3 grading. Yeah, C3 grading. They color match the slab like label. So it's
Mhm.
like, okay, looks halfway decent there, which I'm sending off a couple PC cards to get graded with them just so I have it.
Right.
And we trialed degree grading, I think is degree grading with just another buddy of mine. And I mean, yeah, the lead time, I think we sent them in at the end or middle of April, and we're looking to get them back after Memorial Day, which isn't that bad.
No.
No,
So
not bad.
like,
Nope.
I think it was like 30 to 40 days, so can't really complain there. But yeah, no. I guess I got some questions. So I've played in the app. I've created an account. I haven't done anything with it yet. Because I kind of wanted to wait till we got on here and chit-chatted. I see you have two things coming soon with the trading card version and what was the other one? Comics.
Yeah, so we launched 2 lanes, right? I could have
Yep.
launched them all in the beginning. And the ideas behind the lane, as I mentioned a little bit, was people who buy video games usually don't buy trading cards. People who buy comics usually don't buy video games. People who buy comics don't buy trading cards. Usually that's the way it
Right.
works.
Unless
And
you're like
most,
me.
yeah, me too, right? I'm sort of a gamer guy. I love to buy the unopened games, and comics always fall into it. But that's kind of how the grading houses work too. Their coins are coins, and that's how it is. So my mentality was, when I go to eBay, it's everything for everyone, which is great. There's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with that. I personally don't want to see sneakers when I'm shopping for an Otani, right? I don't want to be served up an ad for a purse or a Beanie Baby. It's just not what I want to do. So I figured, let's silo the ecosystem and make it exactly about what's important to you. So to your point, I launch with video games and I launch with trading cards. The next ones that are going to fall out are comics, and then we're going to go into sports authentics, anything game worn or signature based, and then from there we'll launch a couple others. But the idea was to cut down on fraud because I already wanted to cater to the authenticated process of these collectibles. So that cut down on a lot of the fraud. And I didn't want to be everything for everyone. I wanted to be siloed, and I wanted it to be passionate for what you really cared about.
Yeah, I was kind of curious on what the sports one meant. I didn't know if you're breaking out sports cards, but I like the aspect of the memorabilia.
Yeah. And it's going to be simple and it's going to be fun. And so I'm working out the kinks on 2 things. Video games is a little smaller, obviously, than where trading cards is. But I figured I'd go out with something really big and go out with something a little bit more curated and small in video games. And yeah, I'm learning a lot. And it's, once we get ready to roll, everything has its own color pattern. Everything has its own banners. Everything speaks to that ecosystem. So it's a pretty simple process once I start to roll it out. And who knows, maybe one day I create more of a restaurant sort of theme where you can license those lanes. If Clint's passionate about comic books and he wants to run it, I've already built the back end. I've already built all the operations behind it. Let Clint go market it and go run it for us, right? And then we figure out how to, work a rev share and move in that way. At this point, I'm not going that direction, but there's a lot of opportunities down the road. So Clint, keep your eyes open. There may be an opportunity for you here.
Sweet. But so Rob, so how you brought up about eBay, like you don't want to see the sneakers when you're shopping for this. So like, in a sense, was that like your aha moment to create this?
Yes, that was part of it. The other was I just thought it started to get inflated in terms of fees. I didn't want people to have to spend a lot of money on fees because when you look at a heritage and you see a buyer's premium of 25%, you have to stop bidding on something because you got to bring another 0.25% into it. And that's a lot of money. When you're
just like golden.
Yeah, or golden too. So it just got out of control. So I'm a 5% marketplace and I'm not changing it. Right now I have 0% because I'm running a special to get more sellers in. But at this point, right, it's 5% no matter what. I have an advertising and marketing background. I have other ways. We created Behind the Lane, which is a YouTube channel that's starting to pick up a little steam. That's the stories behind the collectibles. So my passion is, how can I create FOMO? How can I create interest behind the cards? As an example, there's a Sam Vincent common card out there. It's not unknown. People know about it. That is the only card where Michael Jordan wore number 12 in his uniform, right? Because his uniform was stolen. So he didn't have the number 23. So you could go buy that Sam Vincent card at any point in time. It's there. You just don't know about that story. What I'm doing with Behind the Lane is I'm building the stories behind the collectibles to make you guys interested in what you can have, because what better way to then go buy something, to either put it on your shelf, talk to your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, whatever it might be, that this is a pretty cool thing. This is a story behind it. So yeah, I mean, Behind the Lane, check it out. It's on YouTube.
Dude, that's a cool idea, man.
Yeah, it's the stories behind the collectibles. And in all honesty, that's what interests people. And anytime you tell those stories, and there's multiple, I just launched one with Kobe and him being at the World Series with Puig's card.
I have seen that one, yeah.
Right? And which is just cool. So these stories are awesome. And I've been doing it for video games and I've been doing it for trading cards. And it's endless. And then once they post, the interest and the clicks and the interest to buy it spikes really quickly. And people aren't telling those stories. And that's kind of what my background is storytelling. It's marketing and sales, building a story. So why can't I bring it to something that's very static, that sits on a shelf or sits on a website and doesn't move, to now having it move and tell a story? So yeah, back to your question, Clint, the background of it was, I saw a fractured marketplace and I saw that there's an opportunity to really make it work perfectly, mainly because of what the authentication houses were doing in terms of their silos and why it made sense as a user experience. And then second, I thought the opportunity to really create good content, give that chance. One of the things I'm going to do with Behind the Lane is I'm going to give the opportunity for a seller who has a $30, $50 card, $1,000 card and higher, the chance to work with me to build a story. And then they can push it out to their socials, in a similar model to where I started out at MTV. If you remember, MTV started out by the music studios giving the content to MTV to build a corporation. I'm going to build the content over your period of time with your card or your video game, and then you're going to push it out to your social followers and drive them back to Collectible Lane at the end.
That's really cool, man. That's a very unique way to do it, man. It really is.
Yeah, this is like
it's different.
Getting collectors all into the mix here, like, and not just shorting, the guy, that has it,
Yeah, and then who knows? Maybe he doesn't want to sell it after he gets a video, or maybe the guy who's dying to buy it can't wait to get the video, right? And I see it. I mean, I did one with Bo Jackson with a video game 2 days ago, and I see these fans of Bo Jackson posting it on their Instagram. Like, they're passionate about a story to be told that, they don't have the capability to do it. And because of AI and because of technology today, it's not that expensive for me to pull it off. And it's a story. So it's a lot of fun and snackable. It's 30, 45 seconds at a time.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's super fun. So check it out when you guys get a chance on YouTube. Behind the Lane.
Okay.
I'll be checking it out tonight. Don't you worry.
Absolutely, man.
Clint, what you got for some questions, sir?
So, speaking of Behind the Lane, you obviously said you focus heavy on the nostalgia and the history of an item rather than just the transaction. How does integrating media and storytelling fundamentally change consumer behavior in e-commerce?
Yeah, FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. I think once that Kobe card hit and the story started to be told, we quickly saw a $4,500 sale on eBay and a $5,500 sale on eBay as well to follow. So there's a quick interest in terms of trying to buy that card. I couldn't get the card. I tried very hardly. Although I was offered it, I just didn't pull the trigger. And then I was working on trying to get the eBay guy to come over to Collectible Lane, and it didn't work. But nonetheless, the card sold, right? So I like to take a little credit there that the penetration of what we were able to push out in terms of content helped bring awareness of that card. And then what people do is they then go and search for it, right? So the hope is they search for Collectible Lane, but if not, I don't need to be 99% of the marketplace. I just want 1% of the marketplace world, right?
Yeah.
And I learned quickly that you'll put your thing on Poshmark, on StockX, on eBay, on Marketplace. The first one that sells it is it, right? You have an Under Armour, feeling because you love the shirt of Under Armour. You probably wear Nikes as well because it fits well. There's no brand identity, no brand feeling to a marketplace. You just want to sell your product or you want to buy it. So it's a little different in this world. I'm not looking to take down eBay. I'm not looking to take down StockX. I just want to be one of where you can trust me to know that you're going to get your card, you're going to get paid, and you've got a great platform to come to because I'm going to work my butt off to try to sell your card through creating content, pushing it out to socials, and helping you get your card off to where you need to get it off to.
Okay.
I love it. I'm loving it.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
How many different lanes are you thinking of creating with this platform?
Oh, that's the big secret I'm holding back on. I don't want it to be overwhelming, and I don't want to get it to the point where it is everything for everyone. I like to go in areas that I have knowledge, and I can be authentic. Once I stop being authentic, it becomes somewhat of a corporation, and I feel people will lose interest. Don't get me wrong. If we get big enough and the funding comes where we want to continue driving bigger lanes, it's got to make sense. The business model is not an eBay. I don't ever want to be everything for everyone. I want it to be really niche, but it has to be authentic. So I'd rather build better applications within each lane than mass scale my lanes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. I'm watching whatnot's doing. I'm watching everyone in terms of what they're doing on auctions, and I'm trying to do everything a little bit better and a little less chaotic and a little more curated.
Yeah, don't do no whatnot auction.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the way that they. Oh well, this is a $500 card, and I just sold it for $200. Just okay. Sorry, you didn't have the crowd. Like, just get over the fact that. Don't cancel the order. Like, don't be screwing the customer in at the end. They got a heck of a deal. Like, that's not your problem. Like,
yeah, it's true. You got to control the ecosystem a little bit, and we're doing our best to try to do that as well. And even from like our messaging, I didn't want to open up a messaging system like eBay. I wanted to create. If you watch some of the auctions, you can't really communicate that much. We're there as a customer service for you. But we want to make it safe for people that might be a little bit younger in age. I want to make it safe for people who just don't want to be bombarded with questions that don't even make sense and are annoying. So we've got AI built in some aspects. But, we've closed down that communication level to a point where we want to make sure that that product is as visible as possible, as verified as possible, and as easily accessible as possible. And then the rest we'll take care of. You just, be happy with the experience that you're going to have.
Okay. Well, so kind of touching on that, talks a little bit about building trust. So with so many like different counterfeits out there, that in all hobbies you could say, um, I guess what strategies or technologies are you implementing at Collectible Lane to firmly establish trust early on?
Yeah, so the first part that we did was we went exclusive with Stripe. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Stripe.
Yep.
It's a
Okay.
pretty big up and comer. And I say up and comer, and it's a large up and comer. But one of the big things that they had was they had Stripe Radar, which was a pretty big fraud detector. There's two parts. One, they had the fraud application was incredible, and I thought it stopped fraud very quickly, and it was something that I needed on the site. The first part, though, about it was I thought sign up was really fast. I didn't think you had to deposit 13 cents in a bank account, wait 48 hours, figure out what bank account it was going to, when they were going to deposit it, and then try to figure out if it was 14 cents or 19 cents, and then have to write it back into the bank account. It didn't make any sense the way others were doing it. So I signed on with it exclusive with Stripe, making it much easier for the user. I have Apple Pay, Amazon Pay, anything you want, you can pay for something.
Okay.
Stripe was the big kind of cornerstone for me to do that. The second part, which I talked a little bit about in the beginning, was I'm coming out in the next 2 or so weeks with a verified system, which will make sure that you're a human person behind the card or game or whatever the lane is. And that card that is in your hand is the actual card that you're listing. So I will tell the person before you actually list the product that this is a verified product. I don't know anyone else that's doing that yet. We know what PSA is doing and eBay is doing and all the post part of it, but I don't know anybody that can tell you immediately that the card you're looking at is already verified. Some in the vault, I get it with PSA what they're doing because it's already in the vault and that's different. But with a raw card that's just going up, I haven't seen it yet. So what I'm doing is I'm launching that in a couple of weeks. There'll be a verified little notation next to the card and the username of whoever's listing it. And you'll know that that immediately is a real card and a real person behind it.
Okay.
Which I don't think has been done in the industry yet. I mean, I took a little bit from dating apps, to be honest with you. You know, you dating apps, you got to turn your head to the left, you got to turn your head to the right. And then all of a sudden you're a real person and you can go on with, swiping left and right. So there's a little bit of that that's going to be taking place. And you have the option to skip it, right? I say you can list the product in under 10 seconds. And that's important to somebody that doesn't want to sit there for a very long time. We utilize AI that when we take a photo of that card, it formulates and fills in all of the fields for you. So it'll take the product name, it'll take is it a rookie card? It'll toggle for you to the rookie card. If it's a number 1 out of 10, it'll put it in there. It'll tell you the card number. It does everything for you in under 10 seconds. So I don't want to slow that process down, but I also will give the option to the user. If you don't want it verified, more power to you. That's fine. It probably won't sell as quickly as a verified card will. And that's really important. From a Stripe standpoint, once you pay for the product, we hold the dollars, or Stripe holds the dollars, I should say, for 3 days. So, and when those 3 days start, the ticker starts once we see in our system that it's actually delivered to your house or your apartment or your office, right? Okay. And then the clock starts. Then it gives the buyer a chance to hit confirm. This is exactly what I ordered. It's exactly right. And that confirm button will release the funds. And if nobody does anything for 72 hours, those funds will release immediately. And that's it. If there is an issue, you contact us, we hold the funds, and we work through that situation on a one-on-one basis. And you're working with somebody in the States. It's not an AI machine. You're going to work with us, and we're going to solve it.
Okay.
So pretty much like what Collects did.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And are there things that I'm working on the back end over time? Yeah. I mean, would I like to have a warehouse soon to have it filter through us for every product? Love to have it do it that way, but we're not there just yet.
Right.
So how's your shipping set up? Do you guys offer the shipping within? So like if I was the seller, I purchase my label through you, or am I purchasing it through like third party or like Ship Pirate or something like that?
Yeah, I love Ship Pirate. I use it personally, just so you know.
Right.
But I do. So we built a USPS API right now into the app. So it's in our ecosystem. What happens is the buyer will pay for the shipping. The shipping is set by the seller, obviously. Once they pay for the shipping, the seller has the option to either go to USPS on their own if they want to, come back and put in the tracking number. If not, it's full service. You can just hit pull postage, and we'll give you a QR code to take to the post office, or you can print out a label very easily, and it's in our tracking system. And that's
Gotcha.
it. Pretty simple. We've got up to $5,000 on the USPS insurance, and that's simple. So yeah, pretty simple.
So how many raw cards right now have been going through Collectible Lane? Because
So
here's the
majority
biggest.
of the cards have been mostly graded.
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say the biggest issue I know with raw cards is plain white envelope. And
Yeah.
the tracking availability on plain white envelope.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I don't know if it's the marketing or it's sort of the way we've built the platform, but we've recruited a lot. I don't even on the game side have a lot of ungraded games. So I've looked and found a lot more of the higher end. We have a $20,000 video game that's listed, and it's real, it's authenticated. I know exactly who it is who put it up there. So there's more of a, I guess maybe we're more of a higher end right now in that term, and we're kind of running with it at this point, but we haven't seen a lot of ungraded raw cards being listed just yet. And maybe it's also from a shipping standpoint, right? It's going to cost a lot of money to ship a $4 on a raw card. It doesn't make any sense to put it on my platform, and I don't want to necessarily be that platform. Let eBay put the $1.50 raw card up there, and move from that way. I really would love to have more of the authenticated already, so that it automatically cuts down on the fraud. You can check the serial number quick enough to make sure it's real. But
yeah, no, I get that. I just do a lot of plain white envelope here, there, and it's like, man, it sucks not having that tracking availability.
yeah, you got to have the tracking. I just think it's really important. And it's pretty simple to take the QR code from our system and go right to the post office, let them print it out for you. And having that inside internal part allows us to track, right? We know exactly where it's going, when it's getting delivered, and then when the clock starts to tick for you to get your money. And the fun part is, even for us, if you were to take it outside our system and go to USPS and do it themselves, come back and put the tracking in, we will pay you immediately. So you're not out that $8, let's say, to send that raw card, that 4-ounce 4-ounce graded card. Once you go and pay for it, we're not going to hold your postage for 4 days, 7 days, or 9 days. We're going to pay you immediately because you're out that money. Why shouldn't you get that money back? And we know it's an authenticated USPS tracking number because that's the only one that our system will take.
Okay.
So we changed it up a little bit in that manner, and make it a little bit different and a little bit more appealing. That if you don't use our system, that's fine. You may be able to save $1 or $2 by going to USPS, perhaps, maybe, and putting in your code that way. But we're going to reimburse you very quickly on it.
Okay, that makes it nice then.
Yeah, a little different, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So, since you started Collectible Lane, how have you been building your audience up?
So for about 1 year straight while we were doing development, and that's kind of what we were doing for about a year and a half, we launched Behind the Lane on YouTube. We've been building up the socials on Instagram and TikTok and other places, mostly Instagram and YouTube for the most, and just building content and building community. And a lot of that community has been what has told us what to go and what to do and, what's of interest. We built up a pretty fast community on Instagram of gamers. And so there was really no doubt in my mind that even though we knew trading cards was really the biggest and the boldest right now, that video games would have to launch as well, because there was just too much of a community there not to, and too much of an interesting community not to. Most part, it's social. We're getting the word out. I did a card show the other day. We're going to do some more card shows, which was a lot of fun because think about it. I had 2 beautiful women with me. I had a great colleague of mine dressed in Collectible Lane black gear, and we're approaching and talking to everybody. And if you've been to card shows, most of the people sit behind their tables. They're not energetic.
Yeah.
We're giving out 19 different premiums, shirts and koozies and everything you could think of. And we're dancing with the mascots that are running around. We're trying to bring some energy to these
That's
trading card shows. And so that was fun for me. I did a podcast. We had somebody drive an hour and a half to meet me down at the card show. So it was kind of that IRL where you now actually got to see people you've been talking to for 3, 4, 5 months. So it's going to be a lot more in person over time to build community. But for the last 6 to 12 months, we were just pounding social media with stories, putting them into Facebook groups. If there was a Bo Jackson Facebook group, I can promise you they saw that video we launched 2 days ago. So we've been really strategic with targeting the content into the Facebook groups and making sure people were aware of who we were.
Okay. Now, like, I believe you said you're in New York, right?
Connecticut, New York, Connecticut. Yep.
Okay. So, like, are you traveling doing card shows? Like, are you going to be going to other states, or are you strictly just out that way right now?
No, we're going to other states and eyeing the National in Chicago and trying to figure out every which way to do the most economical stops along the way. So yeah, we're trying to figure out what are the best, for our bang for our buck, right? And then what we can do while we're in town, and can we go see some brick and mortar stores and try to figure out if we can help them be an arm online when they may not have that. So yeah, I mean, it's a conversation that we're having and trying to figure out. It's mostly domestic. We're not going international yet. But it's a combination of outside the cities. Is it worth it? We're not going to go to Fanatic Fest. That's not something we're going to be at, but we're trying to find the smart card shows where we can really start to talk to people and get community built. Because if we can organically build that and we can really become a voice and an authentic voice in community, I think we'll be trusted. And at the end of the day, it's all about trust. They got to know that there's people behind Collectible Lane, right? How can I stand out from an eBay and from StockX and others? Here I am.
Right.
Right? This is me. This is who's doing what we're doing. And I think that's a big component to what's been successful in my background with sales and marketing. Right? They always knew they could get me no matter what time of night. Snickers could call me and say, Rob, we got an issue at WrestleMania. And they knew they could get a hold of me at any point in time. And that's what I'm bringing again to what Collectible Lane is. People have to know that on the other end is somebody that they can really rely on. And I've managed talent influencers before. I've managed salespeople before. And the ones that are always on are the ones that win. And that's the kind of winning mentality we're going to try to bring to Collectible Lane.
That's great, man.
The National would be phenomenal. That's only like an hour and a half away from us. So if you go, let us know. Like,
all right,
for sure.
we'll do that. Maybe a little go to Gibson's for a little steak dinner in Chicago, maybe, if you guys are aware of that.
I'm in, man.
Yeah, let us know. I know that's like soon too, ain't it?
I think it's in August, right? Or
August or
I think it might be in
September.
August.
Yeah,
Something like that.
A couple months away. So we'll be smart about what we do. And, if we're not able to make certain shows, I'm trying to be strategic on, can I buy a billboard outside a show? Can I find myself on the gas pumps close to it, right? So I'm going to be smart about how I market in ways that probably others haven't thought about and do it in an economic way.
Okay.
All right. Now I'm going to take it over with the sports media here.
All right, here we go.
All right. Obviously, during your 8 years with WWE and the sponsorship sales, with big sponsorships such as like Coca-Cola or Snickers, what is your philosophy on convincing non-endemic legacy brands to invest highly in the unique world of what you're doing with Collectible Lane?
Yeah, I think it's engagement, right? I think it always goes back to the engagement factor. And I think that's really important on both fronts. I think engagement was hugely important for me to bring people into WWE. I think people didn't really understand who that was, but when I showed them how engaged they were with storyline and how important it was for them not to miss a show, and if they missed a show, they would go back and get the dirt sheets and start to read up on it. I think with a Collectible Lane perspective is my community is engaged. They're watching on Behind the Lane. They're following us on Instagram. They're asking us questions on whether they should go with PSA or CGC. They're asking our opinions. That's the authenticity that I feel is going to work with brands as well. And there's going to be a time and place once we start to scale on a larger basis that we're going to take on sponsorships, but do it in a much different way as well. And I want to bring forth sponsorships and partnerships that give back to my community, right? And that's how I'm looking at it now, whether it's a simple PSA affiliate code that gives back money if you sign up with them, to, bringing in Snickers or bringing in something else that could be really beneficial. And we're having conversations with briefcase companies, with slab companies, all kinds of different companies where I want to give opportunities to our community that better their daily lives and then within that, ecosystem.
That's awesome, man. That's huge.
Yeah, your background is just absolutely astonishing.
For real.
Like,
it's it went fast, I'll tell you that. But
man,
I'll tell you, man, I've got a lot of great stories and I've seen a lot of great things. But I think what the most amazing part about what I chose and how I fell into a lot of those roles was I wanted to be around a great fan base, right? And I learned that if you're around good fan base and people are really engaged in what they're watching, reading, seeing, they're going to want to be there for you long term. And that's the idea I'm trying to bring to Collectible Lane. We're not a media property, but we certainly can be that in the collectible space. And I think Behind the Lane is just a drop in the water on what it could be and how it's going to be integrated into a platform that, like I said, every marketplace is static. The cards, the products just sit there, lifeless. There's no life to anything in a marketplace. I'm going to bring life to a marketplace, and that's what I'm excited about doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm almost like speechless over here tonight, but
Yeah.
I've also had my head wrapped around a bunch of things all day. But anyways.
Good.
Yeah, I know, thank God. Obviously with your career with WWE, you've spent your career monetizing hyper loyal niche audiences. How do you do this with Collectible Lane?
Yeah, I think it's listening. If I can listen really well to what can better their experience, then I can build them the best possible platform on the earth. I can listen to economics, I can listen to navigation and experience and customer support, and I can build something that hasn't been built yet. I'm not looking to replicate what everyone else has done. I'm looking to try to make something different. I won't be the largest for a little bit of time. I'm not looking to be the largest. I'm trying to be the best at what I am looking to build. And that's an ecosystem that's curated for what's most important to you, is easily navigated, is easily understood, is not overwhelming, and is done in a way that offers up tools to make your sale much more feasible and much more often.
Okay.
I like it. Just because I'm the buying and selling aspect of probably this group here between me and Clint. I mean, there'd be times I'm buying and flipping or just buying and hoarding. I mean, it gets crazy.
It's all about the passion, right?
It is.
What are you buying these days? What are you eyeing? Everyone's eyeing Jordan and Kobe. Give me something different.
So I'm in a chase of more PC right now. So my favorite player with the Tigers, and it's only because I've played the position, is Dylan Dingler. Cool. And I am chasing the whole set of variations. Awesome. So I know it's not easy to do. Obviously, there's some 1-on-1s, some out of 5s, and I have a stack going right now. I'm kind of like in a competition in a sense, it feels like, with another buddy of mine who's a big Schwarber fan. And he was just at my house the other day and he's like, dude, you are way above the curve. And I'm like, what? I'm at like 20 out of, the 55 in this version of Chrome. I'm at like 15 out of this, paperback of Topps. And it's just like, well, I'm catching it where I can. And obviously I know as I dwindle down to getting those lower numbered cards, it's going to cost me. But anywhere from Jahmyr Gibbs, which I know is a hot guy, Dylan Dingler for the Tigers mainly. But I mean, it's just mainly Detroit sports. I mean, I really wish I could get back into hockey a little bit more, but the upper deck aspect of cards, it hasn't gotten me feasible there yet. And, the Wings have been in a 16-year drought when it comes to the playoffs. So I don't get to watch them that often anymore either, because the way that all the sports are just broadcasted everywhere and you don't get one channel like you used to. Like,
Yeah.
here in Michigan, we used to get Fox Sports Detroit. Like, it was on basic cable. Like, yeah, granted, you had to pay for that platform, but you got every Detroit game. You know what I mean? Now it's like, oh, well, you got to have MLB Network to watch all the Tigers games. And if they're blacked out, well, then now you got to find another source to watch it. And like Red Wings, same thing. Oh, you're on Bally Sports. It's like, come on. I don't want to pay $500 just to watch my favorite sports teams.
The rights game is a whole nother podcast for us. It's a crying shame the way they've fragmented the way we all watch TV. You just don't know where to go. You don't know how much to spend for it. But how long have you been a Tiger fan? Curious.
My life.
So I played with, and this is just throwing it out there, played with the number one pick in 1997. Matt Anderson, that ended up pitching for you guys, and then there was a tale that he had gone to a Red Wings game, thrown an octopus on the ice, and tore his labrum or rotator cuff, and he was never the same after that.
Oh man!
So I was wondering if that was the right story or not, but
I mean, that's tradition in Detroit sports, especially for hockey. Like that's definitely a big playoff push. Like you're always throwing the octopi on the ice.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. His career came to a screeching halt after that.
Man.
I mean, I know more Tigers from like early 2000s because I was born in 96.
Yeah,
so like,
no, I get it.
I'm just a baby out here, it feels like. But like, yeah, so obviously I didn't get to see the 84 World Series or anything like that. But,
There's some good players, though. Parrish and Trammell, all those guys are good, vintage cards to chase after.
Yep. And then obviously, we see the 06 World Series. We lose that one. Then we get swept by the Giants. And it's like, well, yeah, Detroit sports is in the toilet right now, you know, but now we're on the rise. Detroit football's back. Now Pistons are in the playoffs. So it's like, now we just got to get the other two there,
It's working. It's working.
I think the city's, it's starting to evolve, right? And people are wanting to be a part of Detroit sports.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that.
So with the massive shift in sports consumption that's going on, where do you see Collectible Lane and how it's going to be a creator-led sports network in a sense?
Yeah, I think, we're going to try to figure out what's hot and what's not pretty quickly. And that's going to be led by the creators and by the sellers and the buyers. And from there, that's how we've been picking a lot of the content for Behind the Lane. It's really been, what are people looking to sell? What are people looking to buy? And then we either source that product by trying to bring on those sellers to the platform, or they're actually putting it on them themselves. So they're really becoming the creators without really trying to be the creators, which in turn allows my content team and me to come up with really good storyline. And the storyline is usually built around the product. So I'm letting them lead. I'm sitting back and watching what's coming on the platform. And right now I'm driving that content over time. Once we implement the opportunity for buyers and sellers, well, mostly sellers, to put, and purchase a video themselves, they'll then dictate what kind of content goes on. And over time, we're probably going to launch a feed that's going to go within Collectible Lane as well. And in that feed, you'll be able to promote those videos through, and you'll have some community interaction through that as well. So it's going to go back to the community, and they're going to start it, and they're going to lead it, and then we're just going to follow and kind of listen really closely.
Okay.
Nice. I like that factor. Like, I mean, I'm not to that stage, but like, I like that factor. How many people do you got working for you at Collectible Lane then?
Not a lot, not a lot.
I
But,
didn't think so, but I'm just like the amount of stuff that you're bringing to the table. It's like,
yeah, we've got a good dev team that works some pretty cool hours, and they get a lot done for us. I have a buddy of mine that's been kind of on the sidelines doing some little things and couldn't wait for me to launch this so he could start, just chomping at the bit and start recruiting people and being part of the platform. So I've got a lot of loyalists, right, that have kind of built themselves around me. I have my wife helping me create things. We've pulled her in to do things. So there's a lot of fun people that are around right now. We have a dev team that's relatively small, but putting out great content, putting out great development work on the web, and that's important, right? 3 platforms. You've got Android, you have iOS, and you have the website. It's not easy, right? And then you have a backup platform that's being able to be dev work, so you're able to work everything out before making it live. But we've been able to work small. I think it's, work smart, not hard. And I think we've taken that mentality to everything we've done, including the content, right? You'll push it out there and you'll get your naysayers. It's AI. I think they call it AI spam or something like that. But you know what? It's good content. And you got to get on the bandwagon here. AI is not going away. It's not like the website, right? When radio people used to, say they didn't need it. Well, the internet's here to stay.
Right.
yeah,
So the same way AI is, if I can make these videos in a quick fashion and I can make them with great high quality definition, why aren't I doing it? Right. So I'm being smart with how we create content, being smart with what we do on a dev standpoint. And, we've got a handful of people working. And like I said, I don't think it needs to be a big team. There was an authentication company I spoke to the other day that told me they had 280 people working, and I couldn't figure out what 280 people were doing. I just couldn't wait to hear that.
holy cow!
Yeah, if you think about it. So we're really small. I'm hoping to stay really small. I don't think you need a lot. And we'll see how we scale. And as we scale, we'll start to grow. But as we grow, I never want to lose that personal touch, because that's what makes Collectible Lane what it is. It's that authenticity, that personal touch, the fact that there's somebody in real life behind the doors of a marketplace and a content engine like Behind the Lane.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Have I sold you guys yet? Are you Collectible Lane?
Yeah, we're on board, man. We're on board.
Hey, I already got the app. I've got an account. So as soon as
we needed that one download. So thank you.
As soon as we made the connection, I was
Absolutely.
like, I got to dig into it. I got to see what this is about. Like, I believe every aspect of it, but like, I got to be able to see it for myself. And like, that's kind of what triggered me to be like, yeah, we definitely need to get Rob on.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm loving it. This is good. I had no coffee today. I had no caffeine, and I'm still killing it right now. I love
Absolutely, man. Because that's what scared me when Jordan brought me to, he introduced me to Whatnot, and it was real. I still haven't downloaded that because I was like, it just seems sketchy.
No, don't do it.
And then
I'll kick that back and say 100% don't download it.
It's a little chaotic for me too. I don't go near it. I just don't.
Yeah.
It's
and then he showed me Collects, which I got addicted to for a minute. So I'm taking a small little break from Collects. But
all right.
He's very bad.
Legit.
Small dosage.
He's very bad.
Oh yeah. It got bad for a minute, Rob. It really did.
There was a kick. It was he was on South Park plushies, and he's like, "Yo, I found this one on eBay. Buy it up for me real quick. I'll pay you next payday." And I'm like,
"Yep,
Jesus, dude, it's like the 3rd one this week."
Yeah, I get crazy on it, but once I saw Jordan was ordering from there, you know what I mean, and actually getting his product, then I decided to give it a try. Once I knew other people that I knew that it was somewhat reputable. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
Because I mean, don't get me wrong, I've had bad experiences on Collects. I think Jordan's had a couple as well. So,
yeah. I mean, you always get those people, right? Like, I mean, it doesn't matter where or what, there's, and 100%, I'm at fault. Like, at one point in time in my life, like, I was collecting, I had a bunch of stuff on Collects. I wasn't on it all the time. I didn't have all the right necessities that I needed to be able to buy and sell cards. And you know, some people would buy from me and then I would never ship them out because it was like, well, shoot, I forgot about it. There's so many things going on in my life, you know, at that point in time, like we were expecting a kid. So it was like, well, here we go, you know, like, so it was like just up in the air and you just start to lose sight of it. Then everything was so totally unorganized that I was like going through boxes and boxes trying to find that one card. Whereas now, you know, everything's a little bit more organized and we're good. We're back at it, you know. I
Yeah, I think
mean,
we've all been there where we can't find the product that we're so happy to have sold.
right.
Yeah.
And I have a buddy who buys and sells on collects too, and he's that way. And I'm like, dude, you gotta organize it. Like, it sucks. I know the amount of time it takes to do it because I've done it. I've completely wiped my collects and like started from scratch. Like once I got back into cards again, and it was just like, holy crap, there's way too many cards here, but I gotta get this semi-organized so I know based by team, whatever that, you know, player was wearing in that card, I know they were a part of this team. I can find it within like 2 minutes now. Boom, done.
Yeah, that's good. Organization. In life,
Oh,
organization. Good.
yeah. I mean, it just takes a toll when you don't have it organized. I mean, granted, you can't see my desk, but there is cards like all over.
Everywhere.
I have another desk in the other corner of the room that's got more that is like the freebie cards. You know what I mean? But it's
Yeah, we all got those. As long as you know where everything is, that's all that matters.
yeah. As long as my wife don't touch anything in my room, I'm good.
Yeah,
Because the moment she touches something, it's gone. And I've
that's
seen it in the garage and everything. I'm like, oh, I remember where that tool was, but I go to it. Well, that's right. You cleaned the garage. What'd you do with the tool? The brain knows where things were left, and you just go back to that place. And when it's not there, you lose all track of it.
That's awesome.
uh,
You guys
um,
got more questions. I'll let you keep rolling.
we got some. Don't worry. And I'm sure as Clint will finish this out tonight, I'll have some more at the end too, just that pop through the brain.
Cool.
Before its acquisition, you led marketing and operations of sales at G Fuel.
Yes.
What did that experience teach you about capturing the hyper-engaged gaming and pop culture demographic?
Yeah, so I will say it, and I've said it a couple times in our conversation already because it's so embedded in my mind. Authenticity. We were able to create a product that people collected and consumed. When you think about that, yeah, Coca-Cola, people will collect old Coca-Cola bottles, I think for the most part, somewhat, right? But these were kids that were 16, 17, 14, 15, 19, 20, whatever it might have been, that were putting their tubs behind the cameras, putting their cans behind the cameras so that they would be shown when they were playing their video games. And to get a brand identity like that, where people are so excited to show off the brand, not only to drink it on camera, but to have it as their wallpaper behind
Yeah.
them, became a real good voice of authenticity. And that really taught me to speak to community, to be embedded in community, to be a part of what's going to be new and different. We were part of FaZe Clan when FaZe Clan was cool back then. They were a pretty big up and coming gaming org. And you had to look down the road a little bit to see who could and who would be a big influencer. And what we learned quickly was if you're in well with those influencers as they're rising, not necessarily the ones at the top, but the ones that are rising, you could become extremely authentic by doing that. And we became a very authentic brand over time. I think one of the bigger learnings was, you know what, when you're at the top, sell. Don't become greedy and sell. And we eventually sold to private equity, but we didn't. I think we didn't sell at the best point in time. At one point, we had Anheuser-Busch come to us and tell us, hey, we'll distribute for you. And we thought we could do it better. So the learning was, when the big guy comes down to help you, take it and run with it.
Definitely take the Anheuser-Busch distribution. They're the biggest in the world.
Yeah, so they went with Ghost and didn't go with us. And you know where Ghost is right now. It's a little bit bigger than G Fuel.
It did take them a minute, though.
It
Correct.
did.
It did. Yeah, agreed.
because they
Well,
weren't very well distributed, distributed whatsoever. But now that you say that, they went with Anheuser-Busch, that makes sense.
yeah, then they were everywhere. So
Yep.
good learnings, but I think more than anything, just about the G Fuel brand was we were in community really quickly, and then we became authentic, and influencers wanted to work with us. People wanted to buy them. They really wanted to show it off, and I think when you get a brand that people are really proud to show off and want to push their shoulders out, and wear the shirt, Collectible Lane. It's that mentality, and I think that's my takeaway for G Fuel. Being able to convince a consumer to both consume and purchase and be really proud about something, that's the name of the game. Then you've got loyalty. And once you have loyalty, they don't leave you. We talked a
Right.
little bit earlier on that there's not really any brand identity to a marketplace. You're not wearing eBay t-shirts around the
Unless
mall.
you're sponsored.
Right.
Unless you're
Yeah.
sponsored, and they're putting money in your pockets. For now, it's, how can you really become a cool brand? And I'm trying to become cool in that manner, but I'm also trying to stay authentic and not just, overpopulate myself in a way that doesn't really, resonate with people. So yeah, I think that's, that's the name of the game of what G Fuel really taught me. And I was hyped because I was drinking about 700, 800 milligrams of caffeine every day. And I learned to not do that.
You were
anymore.
bouncing off the walls, weren't you?
Wild, man.
It was crazy. I went cold. I had to go cold really fast.
That's a lot. I do a shot of espresso in the morning.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah. I
Holy
don't
cow.
drink any more energy drinks.
No. That's
It's
crazy.
9 o'clock here on the East Coast, and I'm still wired. Imagine me on G Fuel for 24 hours. Not good.
Yeah.
Dude.
No. How did you sleep?
Yeah, I didn't. I worked all the time. I just worked.
Just stay working.
That makes sense. Oh man. All right, Clint, I'll let you take off the remaining 3 here while I build up some more.
All right. So, Rob, you've spoken out against micromanagement, noting that people do their best work when they feel trusted. How do you maintain corporate accountability and hitting revenue targets while still giving your team complete creative freedom?
Hire really well, right? If I hire the right person, they're going to do the job. I'm not a big fan of having 7 or 8 different interviews to bring somebody in. I know immediately if somebody's good or bad, and that's it. Let's make a decision. Let's get them in and let's get it done. But the bigger part of that is, and I think I might have mentioned it in one of the articles I talked to, was I give the keys to the car, right? I show that I believe in their ability to get the job done, which makes me not have to micromanage and microanalyze what they're doing. They have the confidence that if they make a mistake, they can fix it fast, but they also have the confidence that they can roll out what they're asked to do very quickly and very well because I've given them the keys to the car. So that's the biggest part for me, is making sure I don't microanalyze and look over their shoulder. I'm hiring you because you're good, and I know you can do the job, and go ahead and get the job done. If you fail, we'll figure it out. We'll proactively break it down and come up with a solution. But for the most part, when my staff is around me, they can get the job done, and then we'll fix if something goes wrong. But in the majority of times, things aren't going wrong because they have the confidence that if they mess something up, they can fix it very quickly.
That's huge.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to be micromanaged.
No.
If you have
No.
confidence that you can hire good people, you can ask the right questions. What do you need to manage them in a micro standpoint?
And if they got questions for you to benefit them, in the long run of,
Yeah.
hey, I don't 100% get the game plan. I have this concept. Is this the same concept? It's just
Yeah,
people got to ask the right questions.
I've instilled in a lot of folks that have worked with me that come to me with a solution. Don't come to me with a question, because then we can take the solution and we can pivot it in a different direction if necessarily needed. But have a thought before you actually walk in to talk, because that might be the exact thought that is the right thought, but you just haven't been in other instances and other circumstances given the confidence to feel that you can tell them that solution. So I'm all about being really confident. I love confidence. I love athletes, people that have actually been on a ball field and seen failure and understood that when the ball goes through your legs, pick yourself back up. Derek Jeter never worried about the ball going through his legs. If it did, he was right back up and he was an all-star the next pitch. And that's the difference, right? And everybody can be that. It's just you got to be mentally strong to accomplish it.
Absolutely.
It's all mental.
Yeah, 90%, right? We all, Yogi Berra said it, 90% mental, 10% physical. That's it.
Yep. That's all it is.
The difference between you and me and Jeter, he was just that much more mentally tough. And, maybe better looking, but
right? Somehow came from Michigan.
Right.
Yes.
Only because he moved here his
Kalamazoo,
junior
right?
year of high school. Yeah, Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
And I'll say the ball fields look phenomenal.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah. My sister-in-law just played there this past year in softball.
Really?
And all turf, really different, especially for up here, but very easy to maintain,
Yeah, that's the name of the game, right? And it looks good.
Yeah, it definitely looks phenomenal, and you definitely see Jeter everywhere. Respect is everywhere on those ball fields.
As it should be. As it should be.
It was nice to see a give back, that's for sure.
Yeah, he seems like one of the good ones, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
One of the goats, for real.
That is the truth.
Yeah. So, Rob, I read somewhere that you mentioned that your father, in a quote by Nelson Mandela, "You never lose, you either win or you learn," heavily influenced your outlook. Can you share a specific professional loss that you ultimately converted into a major strategic win?
Yeah, I'd say when I was at WWE, I consistently pitched a company that we're all very well known called Netflix, and they consistently would tell me no.
And look at where they're at today.
Yeah.
Man.
Pretty amazing. But I was constantly told no for every idea I would bring to them. And I never really thought about it as failure. It didn't make a lot of sense for us to win that type of business into WWE. But there was a point in time where I was able to break down a barrier, which was merge an advertiser into storyline, which was somewhat coveted, something Vince McMahon never wanted to mix. He didn't want to mix advertising and storyline because storyline it's a soap opera, it's a storytelling. So I was able to take an idea to Netflix, and instead of me kind of remembering the no's and being told, it's never going to work, it just doesn't make sense, you don't have the right audience, I was able to take an idea that merged the storylines with what they had coming out and enabled us to build a really cool production by leading into the production with the theme of the movie into what the storyline was going to be for the match. And it was something that was never done before. And for me, being told no, I never really thought it was just failure. I just learned from it. And then because of that learning, I then was able to be victorious, which I then think, and in many ways, it opened up the eyes a little bit to how big and how profitable WWE could be with that, leading to the big rights deal that eventually now syndicates, WWE's Raw and other platforms onto Netflix. So, I think you can learn a lot about failure, but it's not really failure. It's just the learning, right? You pick yourself back up, you take what you can, and then you move forward and try to become victorious on it. And I think people who dwell on the negative and dwell on the failure, they never succeed. So I love that quote from Nelson Mandela, and I try to quote it pretty often. And I definitely stole it from Dad. Dad knows best, but he's a smart man, and I figure if I could keep that going, it's a pat on my shoulder as well.
That's huge, man. That's huge.
Yeah, and it's everyday life, right? I think you can use that quote often.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
you never lose, right?
Sports, life, business, every aspect of life,
Yeah. I mean, and once you start saying to yourself, I never lose, really? Okay, you never lose? I either learn or I win. I mean, it's powerful.
Yeah.
So you can really kind of push yourself through a lot of situations. And we talked about a work one, but in life and in general, that's the sort of mentality I like to take to everything.
Absolutely. And then my last one for you, Rob. In fast-moving media and startup environments, burnout is incredibly common. How do you celebrate the small wins and keep team morale high?
So Consistency. I'm constantly providing accolades. I think it's sometimes the little rewards. If somebody's got a birthday, why don't you send them an Amazon gift card? If they're doing something unique and different and they thought about it, as we talked about, coming up with a solution before you ask them, if they pivoted and came up with a different solution and different idea without you even saying anything, you got to bring it forth and you got to give them that, congratulations, and you got to make sure that they're aware of it. But we talked earlier about giving the keys to the car, and that is a lot of what keeps morale up. Trust. I trust every person that works with me, whether I, don't answer this or I don't do that, or they have to step in for me, or this person has to run this part of the business. I have trust in everyone around me. And I think once they know that, they work really, really hard for you. And for me, I'd run through walls for great bosses. For others, I wasn't so happy. And I learned very quickly what a good boss can do to motivate and what a bad boss can do to motivate. I don't like a bad boss. I don't want to be around it. I don't understand it. I want every person that works for me to make more money than me if there's an opportunity to. I don't need my name in lights. And because of that, I elevate everything and everyone around me, and I make sure that on every instance possible, and I don't do it in a way that you're giving a trophy away for every little thing that they do. I don't believe that. And I've seen some bosses gather a whole group of people, and I saw this at a recent job, and they would give, the Player of the Week award. I mean, that stuff is a little bit sophomoric and, small.
Sounds like some high school stuff.
Yeah.
It's Bush League, right? It's a Bush League way of managing. Yeah. That's why I guess I didn't click with that guy. Nonetheless, you can do a lot of things to keep morale up, but I think more than anything, it's trust. Just go about and do your job. We're in it together. I want everybody to benefit from it in the end. And I think if they believe in you, in the same way as when I was leading sales teams, I would do a media plan. I would do a PowerPoint. It didn't matter to me. I would make a phone call, but I would put myself in harm's way for my team at any point in time. And I think people see very clearly that you're a leader. And I always wanted to be a leader that could help people and not a leader that just sat back and did org charts and, pointed to different directions. I've seen that. I don't enjoy that. I wanted to be that person that motivated everybody. Everybody wins, right? I'm not in it to win it. I don't need all the money in the world. I don't need all the accolades. I don't need all the headlines. This is all a team effort. If we win, we have a great story to tell at the end of the day. We could tell our grandchildren, our children, our wives, our kids, our neighbors, the bad bosses one day, right?
Right.
You remember me back then? Yeah.
That billboard that's right above your house that I'm going to own one day. It's going to shine
right.
But nonetheless, yeah, I think it's just loyalty and trust, and I think the rest just falls into place. And I've learned a lot in my career, and I've learned to have fun, and that's the name of the game, right? Go home, enjoy your home life, enjoy being with family, and go do fun things. And I don't care when you work, just get the job done. You don't have to work 9 to 6. I don't believe in that. Go do the job when it makes sense most to do it, and do it in a timely fashion that works for everybody, right? And that's all that matters. And work smart, not hard. You might not have to tell that to me that you're doing work smart, not hard, but keep that in the back of your mind that that's not a bad approach.
That's awesome.
So with this team morale, are you guys in an office all together, like on a daily basis, or are you guys doing a lot of remote, just nonstop communication back and forth?
It's 100% remote. And I hope it stays that way. I love camaraderie and I love being in an office, but I don't think it makes sense. I don't need somebody to commute. I mean, unless everybody owns the same apartment or house on the block, and we have a block party, I don't think it makes sense to have anybody drive down or commute somewhere. I think with technology today, you can get it done. And I think there's a lot of time wasted in an office. I mean, I wasted a bunch of time walking the halls, going to get a cookie, and figuring out where the next Coke was. But with regards to being able to be remote, it's super simple. And, do work, get your work done and go do your laundry, go to your doctor's appointment. I don't care what happens, as long as we're getting the job done. And back to our earlier question, I've hired the right people that I trust, and they trust me. So they'll get the job done. And it's very easy to know if somebody's doing the work. You don't have to micromanage them, right?
Right. Yep.
Did you accomplish the task?
Yep. And you can see it,
You can see it. You always can see it with everything. It's not just sales. You can
Yeah,
see it with everything. And then, so I think, the remote's easy. I think everybody now knows that. And I mean, why not make life easy on everybody? They enjoy it much more.
definitely
That's
lowers the
right.
cost too, because you have no building, you have no rent, you have no, ownership of any of that. You do it from home.
Yeah, it's super simple. You need a laptop. And like I said, wherever you want to be in the world, you can really be as long as you're doing the job. And for
Yeah.
right now, the infrastructure is built online.
Yeah,
So as long as you have an Android and an iOS phone and a laptop, we can test everything no matter where you are and what time. The difference in time zones, right, means you might have to wake up earlier in the morning or go to bed later at night. But what does that matter?
yeah.
That's
Especially when
cool.
you work your own hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You guys want to come with me? With me?
Ooh, what's that?
Go. Want to come work with me now?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Our bosses can't see this video tonight.
Right.
But yeah, let's go.
That's all that
um,
matters.
where do you see Collectible Lane in 3 different aspects? 1 year, 3 year, 5 year.
Yeah, for the first year, we're going to see a lot of development. So you're going to see a lot of levels that continue to kind of move up. And that's because of enhancements. Every Friday, we have an upload, another new design, another something else. You're going to see different iterations. In that 1 year, you're going to see a lot of breadcrumbs being dropped with authentication companies, with partnerships, with just areas of breadcrumbs being kind of dropped. And then from there, you're going to build on those breadcrumbs. And then you're going to start to see an established company start to mature. And then we're going to actually know exactly what's working, what lane is working best, what enhancements are working best. We're going to make it as secure as possible. We're going to make that funnel work really well with the ecosystem of Collectible Lane and Behind the Lane and Instagram and TikTok and all the others, and then figure out where we want to expand in that 3, 4, 5 year time frame. But we're constantly looking to see what we can do 3 years down the road, but today, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yep.
I'm not looking for what's working today. I'm looking for what's going to work in 3 years to implement today. And that's where I task my team more than anything. It's don't look for the present, look for the future. So as much as I talk about creating those breadcrumbs in the foundation in year one, that foundation is really looking 2, 3 years down the road.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because we know how quickly AI is working and how this whole movement and technology changes overnight, right? What's hot now is not hot in a year from now.
Yeah, it's nonstop evolving.
Quick. Yeah.
I don't know, Rob. I'm very intrigued to see where this thing goes, and I'm along for the ride. I will be a part of it, so don't worry.
Well,
Your
I
download
appreciate
is here with me already.
I appreciate it, Clint and Jordan. You guys gave me a platform. You gave me a platform at an early infancy stage, and it means a lot to me, right? You opened your
Yeah.
doors to me. You did your homework. You asked some amazing questions, and you opened an opportunity for me to tell my story, and I'm very, very thankful for that.
Yeah, we
Anytime.
appreciate you.
Anytime.
100%. Yeah, and if you want to come back on, let us know some new updates coming. Hey, you could spill the beans here for a little bit.
We'd love to. Without a doubt, we've got some good stories still in the hopper for you guys, so I'm excited to tell those down the road.
Great. Well, with that, Clint, you got anything else?
I think that's it, man.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all for tuning into this episode. Thank you, Rob, for joining us. We appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time. We appreciate picking your brain. It was a pleasure. And we'll catch y'all on the next episode. Thanks.